readers. We are going to get started with our read aloud today. We are continuing our exploration of poetry since it is National Poetry Month, because it is the month of April. And so we have been talking a lot about how to understand what is going on in our poems. We've talked about what poems look like and sound like. We've talked about the structure of poems. We've also understood how poems can make us feel the mood, and we have learned how the character or the author in the poem can feel, and that's called tone. Well, today we're going to start something really fun to carry us through the end of the week. We're going to start to talk about the sounds of poetry. So, what poems sound like, and why poets make their poems sound the way that they are. So, today on our screen, you're going to notice our objective today is I can identify rhyming words in a poem. I'm sure many of you have noticed when you're reading poetry, a lot of poems rhyme. Not every poem needs to rhyme, but a lot of poems do rhyme. And so today we're going to start to explore different rhyming schemes, so different ways poets can rhyme, in order to understand why a poet might use rhyming words to bring a poem to life. Now, just as a quick review, a rhyming word, remember, are two words that end with the same sound. Not always the same spelling, but the same sound. So here, let's just do a couple of quick examples. So remember, if I have a cake, a leaf, and a rake, I hear cake and rake are rhyming words because they both end with the ache sound. On our next one, I see a plane and a train would be rhyming words. Our next one, I see a bun and sun as rhyming words. I want you to take a look at the next one and think about which one would it be? Hat, pumpkin, cat. Which two would be the rhyming words? Yep, cat and hat. So a lot of times poets will find rhyming words and put them at the end of the lines in order to make a poem rhyme. And when a poem rhymes, it makes it a little bit easier to read and really interesting. And so today I have a couple of different examples of how authors or poets can use rhyming at the end of their lines. So one way that poets use rhyming is by thinking of a pattern, just like we would in math, is called an AABB pattern, which means the first two lines rhyme with each other, and then the next two lines would rhyme with each other. Just like this example right here. My cat is nice. My cat likes mice. Nice and mice rhyme, so that's our AA pattern. They go together. The next one, my cat is fat. I like my cat. And then those two lines rhyme with one another. So the first two rhyme, and then the next two rhyme with different rhyming words. Then we also have a rhyming scheme, and this one is also used a lot in poetry. It's called A, B, A, B. That's where every other line rhymes with one another. So that means line 1 rhymes with line 3, and line 2 rhymes with line 4. So my cat is nice. My cat is fat. My cat likes mice. I like my cat. So every other one rhymes, and that one's used a lot too. These two, AABB and ABAB, are usually the ones that poets, and at least the children's poems that we're going to be reading, are used the most. So for example, let's take a look at this one right here. It says, Mr. Brown, the circus clown. Mr. Brown, the circus clown, puts his clothes on upside down. So we have our AA pattern right here because those first two lines rhyme. He wears his hat upon his toes and socks and shoes upon his nose. So toes and nose. So this would be an AABB rhyming pattern. And then our next one, my penmanship is pretty bad. My printing's plainly awful. In truth, my writing looks so sad. It ought to be unlawful. So we have bad rhymes with sad. So that is A, and then B, A, and B. So an ABAB rhyming pattern where every other line rhymes. So what we're going to do is we're going to read a poem together today, first grade. And we are going to be identifying the rhyming words within that poem together. So, I have a poem by the poet Jack Perletsky, and he writes so many great children's poets or poems. So, if you go online and look up Jack Perletsky, is a great website, and you can take a look at all of the different poems that he's written. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to read, but before I do that, though, I need to take a look at the overall structure of my poem. So, remember that when you have lines that are grouped together, it's called a stanza. So, we have one stanza, two, three, four, and five stanzas. And you're going to notice that instead of being in the center of the page, this poem is pushed over to the side. And it does not go all the way across either. It kind of stops and makes the line shorter. So I'm going to read it, and then we're going to start to think about, do we hear rhyming words, and what kind of rhyming pattern would it be? Okay? So it says, be glad your nose is on your face, not pasted on some other place. For if it were, where it is not, you might dislike your nose a lot. So already I hear face and, oh, that's going to be hard to use. Let's try to fix that. Or not, we'll just put that over there for now. Let's do some circling instead. So we have face. That's not a circle either. Oh boy, that's not a circle. Hello. Sorry, first grade. Face and place are both rhyming words. So we know that that's an AA, and then not and lot, BB. So face, place, not, lot. Imagine if your precious nose were sandwiched in between your toes. That clearly would not be a treat. You'd be forced to smell your feet. So again, we have an B, B rhyming scheme. Nose, toes, treat, feet. Your nose would be a source of dread were it attached atop your head. It soon would drive you to despair, forever tickled by your hair. Again, dread, head, B, despair, hair. Within your ear, your nose would be an absolute catastrophe. For when you were obliged to sneeze, your brain would rattle from the breeze. So we have within your ear, your nose would be an absolute catastrophe. For when you're obliged to sneeze, your brain would rattle from the breeze. Your nose instead, through thick and thin, remains between your eyes and chin, not pasted on some other place. Be glad your nose is on your face. So in our poem, we have the rhyming scheme AA, where the first two lines of the stanza rhyme, and then BB, the second two lines in our stanza rhyme. So this is a very popular rhyming scheme for a lot of poems. And so what you're going to do on your seesaw activity, there is a poem in there, and you are going to read it, and you are going to circle and identify all of the rhyming words. And if you want a challenge, I want you to write on there what rhyming scheme it is. Is it AABB, or is it ABAB, where they skip every other line? So today we identified rhyming words in a poem, and we found out that there are different rhyming schemes that poets can use. And we are starting to understand that they're using these rhyming words to make their poems sound interesting or funny. I know a lot of times rhyming words help me know new words that are coming up, because I know if I've already read a rhyming word, it's easier to figure out that next word. So head over to your Seesaw account, read your poem, and find your rhyming words. All right, first grade, I'll see you here tomorrow for our next poem. Bye.